Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Have At It, episode 75. Yes, I am back. My name is Ben Cornett. And yeah, it's been a while. It's been over a month since I've been live and on the air. I do apologize for that. I've been busy with life, work, other stuff going on. Plus, we got the holidays, pretty much wrapping up. So that's been consuming a lot of my time. But I've missed everybody. I miss being on here doing this every single week. First off, I just want to, wish everybody a happy holidays. How was everybody's holidays? Mine was pretty good. I'm glad it's over now. We can get back to normal. But man, we've had quite a month around sports, around especially the NFL. Man, I'll tell you, it's been quite a year. You know, we're getting down to the last 2 weeks of the regular season. Then we got the playoffs, and we got the Super Bowl. Um, yeah, it's been a wild ride this year. I mean, as far as my team, the Bucks, we're 8-7 right now. Disappointing last week. Obviously, we lost to the Cowboys. Um, just for the simple fact we even lost to the Cowboys still kind of irks me. Because I despise them. But yeah, especially coming off that big win against the Chargers down in LA when we beat a team that was arguably one of the better defenses in the NFL. We dominated them, and then you go into Dallas thinking, okay, well, we should win this game. They got a backup quarterback, got a lot of injuries with the Cowboys, but that didn't happen. That was the opposite, and they they beat us. They showed up. We didn't, and now we got a big game Sunday at home against Carolina. Um, the Bucks and Falcons are tied for first place in the division. However, the Falcons have the tiebreaker because they beat us twice in the regular season, which really irks me again. Those are games we could have at least won one of those games, especially the Thursday night game. I'll never get over that. I'll never let that one down because, quite frankly, if we would have won that game, I mean, that would have been really huge, and we could have a lot of momentum going. Maybe even have a big lead, maybe even wrap the division up by now. But be that as it may, we're here now, December 27th, be December 29th when we play against the Carolina Panthers, who are at the very beginning of the year struggled. They benched Bryce Young, then they brought Bryce Young back. And now all of a sudden they're playing good football, which um, you don't want to catch Carolina this time of year, obviously. But that's what's going to happen now. So we gotta face it, and this is a huge game. We gotta win this game. No question about it. We have to win this game and the next game. And I know there are people online saying, "Oh, we gotta be Commanders fans this weekend." No, we don't. I'm not gonna be a Commanders fan. I'm gonna be a Bucks fan, and the Bucks need to take care of business now. Whether the Falcons win or not, that doesn't matter if we don't win. If we don't win, we don't beat the Panthers on Sunday. It's irrelevant. So we need to worry about what we're doing and get a win badly, to stay in this race because right now, as it stands, we're not going to get a wild card spot. Only one team's going to come out of the NFC South, and that's the winner of the division. So um, we got to win both these games, and then we go from there. So I'm not rooting for the Commanders. I'm not rooting for the Panthers the following week. That's not going to happen. I'm rooting for the Bucks, and I want the Bucks to win both games, and then we go from there. So we got Christopher Cole in the house. Christopher says, "Hey Ben, thanks for tuning in, bud. How you doing tonight? It's good to see you again, man. It's been a long time no see, Christopher. He's a Bucks fan too, and he agrees with me how important this is this weekend. win both these games. That's very vital. Should have beaten Dallas. A lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas. Should beat Atlanta at least once. Hardly could have beat the Chiefs. We could have gave them their first loss instead of the Buffalo Bills. So, there's a lot of missed opportunities this year from a team that should be pretty good, should be a really good football team. But, we just keep, one step forward, one step back. And now we got to win both these games, in my opinion. That's what it comes down to these last 2 weeks. We just found out today that Winfield, Otten, and now Sterling Shepard are going to be out for this Sunday's game. It's huge. I know Sterling had 2 drops Sunday. That was tough to watch, but when you don't have Chris Godwin, you only have Evans and McMillan. Now you got Trey Palmer. I mean, it's really testing our depth at wide receiver, and especially the tight ends without Cade Otton. Great catching tight end. Payne Durham's going to get more looks. He's going to have to come up big. The other thing is the offensive line needs to step up. Too many penalties this year with this team. And I know Graham Barton's a rookie, but, he's going to have to grow up these next 2 games, be more disciplined at the line of scrimmage. So, and yeah, defensively, just, I don't know if everybody heard the news, probably did by now, but the Bucs have signed Shaq Barrett to the practice squad. That's, I don't think that should surprise anybody since he got let go by Miami and he didn't clear waivers. So the Bucs are going to re-sign him. Pending a physical, which he should pass. They say he's been football already. So, and I don't know if they'll call him up this weekend or what, maybe, but we'll see what happens. I see some people are excited about it. Some people are like, why? He's past his prime. Like, well, the way I look at it, there's nothing wrong with a little depth. He knows the system. He played in it, Todd Bowles' system for a few years. He got 19 half sacks. His rookie year, or not his rookie year, his first year with the Bucs. That's what got him that big deal, the next year. So say what you want, but depth is very important this time of year and a lot of familiarity with the defense. So we could use all the help we can get. I mean, we can't keep relying on guys like JJ Russell or KJ Britt. Come on, please. We wouldn't hurt to have all this experience. Just saying. So, all right. Well, yeah. So, like I said, we got to win these games, and we just go from there. That's all we got to do. So, and I can see also there's people out there wanting to sign Quan Alexander. He was released by the Lions. He didn't get claimed either off of waivers. I say no to that. I don't want Quan on this team. I'm sorry. He's not familiar with Todd Bowles' system. So, he played 1 year, and he was a disaster. So, nah, no, thank you. No thanks. So, yeah, but Shaq Barrett, sure. I mean, bring him on in. Let's see what he can do. And let's get to some of these comments. Anthony Handy, what's up, bro? Hey, Anthony, how you doing tonight, sir? Good to see you again. Corey King Brown, Shaq Barrett, back with the Bucs. Bench White plays Sean Tucker. Well, yeah, Rachaad White's not done well. I'll admit that, but he's played decent. I shouldn't say he's not done. He's played decent. They're gonna play him. Let's not give up on Rachaad White yet. Jordan Whitehead back off the IR. Yeah, I saw that too. That's good. Again, without Winfield, I mean, they're going to need some experience in the backfield. Joe Tyron bench. Yeah. Yeah, well, JTS, he's been a disappointment for sure. Not gonna lie, he's not done well this year. Said he has a couple good games here and there, but consistency is not there, and they may move on from him at the end of the year. Who knows? But yeah, that's something we're gonna have to really consider. The upcoming draft, we're gonna have to draft somebody, a defensive end off the end to rush the quarterback. I miss those days. I miss having a JPP. I miss having a Simeon Rice. Give me those guys. Man, I want something like that. To get like 12 to 14 sacks a year. I mean, I'd love to see that again. Love to have a defensive end that can actually do that and not over pursue the his routes and missed tackles. So that would be nice. But yeah, I don't know if they're gonna bench him or not. Man, so yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about the Bucks this week. There's a lot of stuff going on, other stuff around the NFL, obviously. Some good games this weekend. We'll start out with the games that happened on Christmas Day. As you know, Netflix aired 2 NFL games, and amazing enough that we did not have any buffering issues. So that was good. So right there's already a win. I got to see both of these games. They're both blowouts. Obviously, the Chiefs just destroyed the Steelers 29-10. The Steelers are getting really, really hot. Or I'm sorry, the Chiefs are getting really hot. The Steelers have gone ice cold. Russell Wilson's just been struggling with the football. He's turned the ball over a bunch of times these last few games. That's really hurt this team. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, they're the Chiefs. They're catching on. They're getting healthy now. Pachenko's back. Now Kareem Hunt's got a partner in crime running the football. Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju. Their tight ends. We know Kelsey, Justin Watson. I mean, this team's loaded offensively, and then what's really amazing was, and my dumbass picked the Steelers to beat the Chiefs. It's kind of an upset pick, but Chris Jones didn't even play. Their best defensive player didn't even play in that game, and the Chiefs were still able to dominate the Steelers. They were able to get to Russell Wilson and just cause problems all day. George Pickens got frustrated. The run game didn't get going for the Steelers like it normally does. So the Chiefs are just looks like they're on a mission to win their 3rd straight Super Bowl, and most likely they're probably going to do that. And the other game, the Baltimore Ravens just destroyed the Houston Texans. They're clicking at the right time. I don't know if they're going to beat Kansas City, but the Chiefs and Ravens could be the AFC Championship game. It could be the rematch from the opening night game this year. So we'll see. I mean, we'll definitely see. I don't know if anybody's going to beat the Chiefs right now. I would say the Lions could, but they've had so many injuries. I mean, you just got to wonder if it's going to catch up with them. I would say if they had a fully healthy team, the Lions could beat the Chiefs. I really do. But who knows if they'll even make the Super Bowl? We got to think about that. The Lions, again, with all these injuries, Hutchinson out, a lot of their defensive guys are out. David Montgomery, their running back is out, who, we've heard reports that he could actually be ready to play in the divisional playoffs, which would be very good for the Lions, especially if they get that number one seed. They'll have the bye week, and then, their first game back would be the divisional round against whoever, the lowest seed would be, assuming the Lions get the number one seed. And we don't even know if the Lions are going to get the number one seed because Minnesota's got the same record. They're both 13-2. And if both teams win this week, and I got the Vikings beating the Packers, and the Lions will beat the 49ers, they play each other next week for the division title. So a team that could be 14-3 may not even be the number one seed after this week, after the season's over. So it's really amazing how that division is just absolutely maybe the best division in all of football when you think about it, because you got both the Lions and Vikings 13-2. Packers, I believe, were 11-4, I believe. That division's stacked. And, that's why I said before earlier on the show that, the Bucs have to win this division, their division, the NFC South, to get in the playoffs, because there's not going to be a path to the wild card. The Commanders are already like 10-5, I believe. So, that so that's not going to help. Now I know we beat them earlier in the year, but still, I mean, the path for the Bucs is going to be winning the division. But with that division, the NFC North, I mean, it's really amazing. Both Lions and the Vikings. I think we all knew the Lions would win that division coming into the season. Thought, should be Detroit. And then, Minnesota, I think we all thought, well, this could be kind of a transition year. They signed Sam Darnold, but, they drafted J.J. McCarthy. He gets injured. He's out for the year. You didn't expect much from Minnesota. You probably expected 6, maybe 7 wins, but instead that defense has been the main part of their success. Brian Flores has done a great job with that defense. It's one of the best in the NFL. And, that game earlier against the Lions came down to a Lions field goal to win the game. So, who knows? Minnesota could be in first place right now. Detroit could be in second place. So it's amazing how great that division really is, if you really think about it. So, like I said, Minnesota's got Green Bay this week. It's a big game. That'll be nationally televised. Everybody will get to see that game. And the Lions, they got the 49ers, who've been eliminated from playoff position, from playoff consideration. So, you wonder what the Niners are going to do. Are they just going to, I'm sure they're going to play their guys, but they have nothing to play for. So the Lions have, I think, everything to play for, that number one seed. Yeah, I mean, if you had told me when the season started, the Lions 49ers, the last Monday night game of the year, you're like, oh, this is going to be a great game. But now it's like, so not so much. But yeah, let's see, we got some more comments in the section here. Let's check it out. All right. Corey, Steelers maybe going back to Justin Fields. No, I think they'll stick with Russell Wilson, but I consider it. I mean, the way Russ is playing right now, I mean, he's struggling. He has too many turnovers these last few games. I mean, the Ravens, that fumble when he tried to run for that touchdown. The interception, the pick six against the Ravens, he had 2 turnovers. Then the turnover early on in the game, where the Steelers had a touchdown, but it got called back for holding. Then the next play, Russell Wilson tried to throw one of the Pickens in the end zone, and it got picked. It was a real bad throw. So I don't know what he was thinking, and he's just been struggling. And same thing with the Steelers or against the Eagles. He struggled as well. So I don't know. I don't think they'll bench him, but it's something you got to kind of consider. I mean, if this keeps continuing to happen, I mean, they only got one more game left. They play the Bengals last game of the year. Cincinnati, speaking of them, they play tomorrow against Denver. It's a big game for both teams, Denver and Cincinnati. I think if Denver wins, that eliminates Cincinnati. But if Cincinnati beats Denver, then they're still alive in the playoff picture. So huge game, huge game. I think earlier on, a few weeks ago, we were writing, Cincinnati's obituary, and all of a sudden now they're in the playoff picture, still alive, which is amazing enough. So I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting if Cincinnati did make the playoffs. I mean, after that horrendous start, to the season, they were like 4-7. Just a few weeks ago. Now, they're 7-8 and still alive somehow. And I don't know. So we'll see what happens, but I'm curious about that game tomorrow. It should be a very good game. A lot to play for. So does Miami. I think Miami's still alive in the playoff picture. They got the Browns on Sunday, so that's a big game. I think they should be able to beat the Browns, the Miami Dolphins. They're playing really good right now. I did say a few weeks ago it was probably too little, too late, but who knows? They could still sneak in there as well. So you got two teams very much alive. But if Denver does win, I think that'll get them. They're 9-6, I believe. So if Denver wins against Cincinnati, that will probably eliminate Miami and Cincinnati from playoff contention. So Denver will get the final playoff spot. But as far as Cincinnati and Miami, they're going to have to win, and they need a lot of help. So, just because they win those games, they still need help. They have to hope say Cincinnati beats Denver. Cincinnati has to beat Pittsburgh next week, but then KC has to beat Denver as well. And you wonder if now that the Chiefs have the number one seed in the AFC, are they going to play their guys? Who knows? So we'll see what happens, but it starts tomorrow, and should be an interesting game for sure. Let's see. Sorry about that, guys. Just checking some stuff out right now. Yes, we are live on Instagram as well. Check me out there at Ben702forever if you want to check me out on Instagram. So yeah, let's get back to there. I'm also watching this video on YouTube at BenCornet9015. Also on my YouTube channel, I do Ben's Quick Picks every week. I didn't do a video this week. Obviously, it was Christmas Day on Wednesday, and so I didn't get a chance to do one. But I did post it on YouTube. On a post, my picks for the week. Right now, I'm sitting at 2-1. Like I said earlier, I did pick the Steelers to beat the Chiefs. That was really dumb of me. I haven't had a great year anyway, so like it really matters. But so and last night, that was what a brutal game that was. Seattle and Chicago. Seattle's still alive in the playoff picture, but they're gonna have to win their division to get in. but all the Rams have to do is win out, and they'll get into the playoffs. So Seattle needs to, or Arizona needs to beat the Rams, and then Seattle needs to beat the Rams next week to make the playoffs, which I don't see happening. I think the Rams win Saturday night, clinch the playoff berth, and win that division. So yeah, but that game was just so brutal last night. 6-3. Just a terrible game. I mean, good lord. I mean, 6-3. And the Bears, I mean, just I feel for those Bears fans. I mean, I feel for, Nick Rosario, who was there at the game last night, working the game. Lila Crespo, those two, shout out to them. Let's talk football, the round table. Other Bears fans like Mike Shee, my friend from high school. Man, it's been tough. It's been tough for those fans, for that franchise. I mean, they're chanting "sell the team" late in the fourth quarter, and I don't blame them. I mean, oh my God, I mean, that's a terribly run organization, and you can bag on Caleb Williams all you want, and I'm not sticking up for him by any means, but I mean, that offensive line's brutal. He has no offensive line. He does have to be better with the football, but again, he's a rookie. I'll let it slide this time, but next year though, he's got to get better. I don't know. I mean, who'd want to coach this team? They were 4-2, and then that Hail Mary happened, and they haven't won a game since. So I think that game against Washington, really, that loss at the last second pass by Jaden Daniels, I think it really psychologically damaged his team. They have not been the same since. And, that is on coaching. They did fire Eberflus, which, I mean, you pretty much had to. I mean, not, calling a timeout there when they should have, but, it's neither here nor there. Yeah, but that team, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, who are you gonna bring in? I keep hearing names like Pete Carroll wants to coach this team. I mean, the guy's in his 70s. Yeah, he looks like he's in his 40s or 50s, but can Pete Carroll change the culture? Possibly, because he did it with Seattle, won a Super Bowl with them. So, but I don't know. We'll see what the Bears do. I doubt they would go that direction because they're the Bears. They'll find a way to screw it up. My team was in a similar spot for years. The Bucks, we called it the lost decade, from 09 to 2019. We were terrible. And we had multiple head coaches. Real bad GM and Mark Dominic. Jason Light early on was not a very good GM, until he brought Bruce Arians in, and Bruce Arians helped him become a very good GM. So, it can work. Things can turn around, but when you see teams like the Bears and the Jets who've, have been struggling for years, year in, year out. I mean, even the Jaguars have struggled year in, year out. It's just, to me, it comes down to ownership. They just don't have good ownership. That don't know how to make decisions. Don't know how to bring in smart football people who know how to run a franchise. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but yeah, that was just an awful game last night to watch. I didn't watch all of it, but I saw the first half and then checked it out toward the end of the game, and yeah, it's amazing that the Bears were still in it and had a chance to at least tie the game. So I don't know. We got Scott Taylor said Bears would have won if the offensive lineman hadn't got a penalty. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of mistakes. That touchdown got called back. But the holding penalty took that away. Scott says send the Bears to St. Louis. Well, who knows? That could work. Corey says Lovie Smith back to the Bears. No, he's not going to go there. Pete Carroll to the Jets. Nah, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know, but we'll see what happens with those franchises. Yeah. So, but anyway, back to the games on Wednesday. Again, they weren't great games. They were blowouts, but still did better than the NBA. It's funny how my Lakers and LeBron's saying that Christmas is our day. Well, it's not. It's the NFL. They rule the sports world right now, and they had the concert with Beyonce, halftime show. The NFL just does it. They do it right. They know how to promote. They know how to bring an audience in. They do it better than anybody, and right now that's why they're the number one sport in America, and it's going to be that way for a long time. The NBA getting better anytime soon. Baseball, it's gotten a little better. They got the pitch clock going, so defensive shifts changed, so at least they're trying to make the game better. The NBA just continues to be in love with the 3-point shot. That's all it is. And it's a lot of other things, political stuff was, a few years ago, it's pretty much brought down the whole NBA. It's brought viewership down big time. So it's just not as fun to watch. So the NFL is the king of sports. Dirk Cutter back to the NFL? No. Remember that guy? Dirk Cutter? I called Dirk Cutter the longest tenured interim head coach in NFL history. He was just terrible. And that's the thing too. Like, the only reason he got to be the head coach of the Bucs is because the Glazers were afraid of losing him to the Dolphins, I believe, back in 2015. So that they wanted to keep him to keep continuing to work with Jameis Winston, but we all know that didn't work out. They fired Lovie Smith over that. And that was a disaster. I mean, again, the lost decade, it was bad. It was just very bad at that time. Tom Brady, head coach, no, he's going to just do broadcasting and have part ownership of the Raiders. Scott Taylor, Taylor Swift, or Beyonce, who is best for football? Well, I don't know. I don't know who's best for football. I mean, certainly Taylor Swift. I will say this. People bag on Taylor. A lot of fans like, oh, come on, we're so sick and tired. But they brought new fans in. Hell, my mom's even watching more football because of Taylor Swift. I'm not kidding. She's watching more football. One of the reasons because of Taylor Swift. So I think it's good to have that pop culture in with the NFL. Helps attract the sport. Gets it to a broader audience, and they've gotten more fans because of it. And in fact, Netflix released the numbers as I think it was in the U.S. 24 million viewers watched both the games. So the NBA, the Lakers had the highest with 7 million. See that disparity? Like the NFL just, again, they know how to promote. And so Taylor, Beyonce, whatever. I mean, whatever brings people in, they're going to watch. Christopher Cole's back in the comment section. Thanks, Christopher. NBA is the no defense league. Yeah, that's one of the problems. You know, lack of defense. Again, the 3-point shooting is way out of hand. Political crap, you know, and it's just frustrating to watch. It really is. And Tampa Bay Race Fan 2008, thanks for tuning in. Tampa Bay Race Fan 2008, appreciate it. He says, is the NBA on Christmas, is it dying? Thanks, Adam Silver, for it. You know, the NBA is not dying, but as a whole, especially the holidays, it's a tradition. But I think, and Charles Barkley said this best, I think it was a good idea. Like, why not start the NBA around Christmas time and then play in the July? Because the NFL season's about to end. That means, you know, in January you can have the playoffs in the NFL, the Super Bowl in February. You know, you got the NBA. After that, they can dominate March, April, May, and June. You can play in the July and August. You know, I think it'd be a good idea. I really do. You know, that's something to really consider. But you know, in recent years, they've actually started even earlier, like in October, middle of October. That's right during the NFL season. So I don't know. Barkley may be on something, and you know, Adam Silver should take that advice. But again, it goes back to what I said before. It's the 3-point shooting's gotten out of hand. You know, and I'm just gonna say it: the politics. You know, bringing politics into sports. So I'm talking about like the BLM and stuff, all that kind of stuff. You know, which again, you know, believe what you want to believe, but you know, I think that's overshadowed what the NBA is doing on the court. You know, I understand bringing awareness, you know, socially, but, you know, when it overrides what you're doing on the court, then it's a turnoff. People want to, believe me when I say this, a lot of people want to tune away from that stuff to watch sports. Sports is a way to get away from stuff outside of it, outside of sports. And when it gets, that stuff from the outside gets brought in and being plastered all over the product, you know, it becomes a turnoff, in my opinion. So, you know, and I said it. I have no problem saying it. So, the Tampa Bay Rays fan, 2008, again with the comments. Thank you. The NBA is watered down for the last 15 years with David Stern, but David Stern made it work. Yeah. Well, the NBA was great, you know, 15, 20 years ago. I mean, you know, it was a different world. And obviously, another thing I will say real quick, social media has been a big part of the reason for a lot of the downfall of the NBA. But yeah, I mean, give me back, you know, those the defense, like Christopher Cole said, no defense league because they'll call a foul if you breathe on somebody. I do believe that the rules got tighter after the Malice in the Palace with Ron Artest, you know, going after fan. I mean, that was a dark day, and you know that changed a lot of things in the NBA. And by the way, that that documentary on Netflix is pretty good. That Malice in the Palace. Check that out. It's on Netflix. But yeah, you know, it has been watered down. Again, they gotta promote the game better. Take a lot of the political stuff out of it. Um, and, and I'm with Barkley, Charles Barkley. Like, start the season later, so that way, you're not head to head with the NFL, because the NFL is going to be number one for a while. They're not going anywhere. They're going to stay at the top. Start the season later on. Start around Christmas time, and then go from there, and then end the season in July or early August. That would be the smart thing to do. Corey says, I thought July summer games, that's for the summer league, for the rookies and players trying to make a roster, which is not bad. I've been to a few summer league games. It's pretty cool. Scott says Luigi is now called the Unibrower. Oh, oh, Luigi. Luigi. Yeah. Yeah, he's going to sit in that nice jail cell for a long, long time. Christopher Cole says if they started at Christmas time, they would have to complete. Or I think you meant compete. Yeah, why not? Let's get it back to being competitive. And we got a question from Tampa Bay Rays fan who brings up a great point here, saying part of the players don't want to play a full 82, no true center, power forward, too many big guys think they can shoot threes, no inside post moves. That's perfectly said, Tampa Bay Rays fan. Again, why do we need to see Joel Embiid shoot 3-pointers? Come on. Dude, we're seeing Victor Wembanyama shooting 3-pointers. Come on, man. Come on, Wemby. Use your 7'6" frame. Post up. Miss those days. I miss those days of Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Patrick Ewing, my God. Hakeem, Olajuwon, Shaq. Come on, man. Give me those big brute centers again, man. Dominate the inside. And you're right. The 82 games, players don't want to play that many games. And that's another thing. Maybe we should cut down on the 82 games. Maybe go to 72 games. Especially when you got this NBA Cup that they're doing now. Why not? So, and that NBA Cup, it's okay, but I give them kudos for trying, but we'll see if that lasts very long. They're even trying to make the All-Star game more competitive. But why do we need to make one game competitive? Let's make the whole season competitive. Another thing I don't like too is there's just too many teams in the playoffs. Too many teams in the playoffs. Now you got the play-in games. So now it's a participation trophy thing. Why? I liked it when we had 8 teams in each conference. 16 teams. That's it. What do we need the play-in game for? Why do I need to see the 37-45 Charlotte Hornets have a play-in game? Come on. Seriously? Corey says 52 games. No, you can have more games than that. I'd say 72, 68. I remember 80s and 90s, a lot of centers were great. Yeah. Oh my God. The centers were the best. Like I mentioned, Ewing, Olajuwon, Shaq, Mark Eaton, Utah Jazz. Dude, remember George Mirasan? Chicks dig it. Yeah, so come on, let's get some of those guys back in the league. Let's get some of those monsters back. But yeah, I miss those days too. Tampa Bay Rays fan. Christopher Cole says compete with Major League Baseball. Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. TB Rays fan 2008. How far do you think the VJK will go? I think we got a pretty good chance. I still think Winnipeg's one of the best teams in the league. Minnesota's played great so far this year. You know, again, hockey's very unique. We 2 years ago we won the Stanley Cup. Then last year we fell out of the early on in the postseason. So it just, like I said, it's like baseball. Who comes in and plays hot at the right time? Like I said, Vegas, Winnipeg, Minnesota, great teams in the West. Also in the East, I mean, Panthers, Boston. We'll see what happens. The Lightning, they're still pretty good, so I don't know. I think we'll be in the mix, but I'm not going to predict that we'll win the Stanley Cup or get back to the Stanley Cup final. But I think we have a decent chance to go far this year. Obviously, Aiden Hill's got to be great for us. So far he's been pretty good. Samsonov, he's been okay, but he's a backup for a reason. Didn't work out so well with them in Toronto. We got to stay healthy too. Eichel's been able to stay healthy for most of the year. We just got Mark Stone back. Kosar, we just re-signed him. I'd like to see more out of Pietrangelo. We could use more depth in our 3 and 4 lines. So, right now they're going to be playing tonight against San Jose. Should win that game. But yeah, we just got to stay healthy. We can compete with anybody in the NHL. We really could. Let's see. Georgetown University was Center University. That's right. Ewing, Alonzo. Man, some great centers. Great centers. Corey says Orlando Magic Championship 2025. Yeah. They're okay. No, Wagner got hurt, so he's out for a while. But they got to stay healthy. Banchero's got to stay healthy. I think he's back in the lineup though. Yeah, Orlando is a solid team. They just got to stay healthy. Christopher Cole says, "Who's your picks to make the Final Four in college football playoff?" I got Oregon. I got Notre Dame. I hate Notre Dame, but I got them. I think they're going to beat Georgia. Arizona State, and I think it's Texas, right? That they're playing next. I think Texas will win, and then Penn State, Boise State. I gotta go Boise State. Texas, Boise State, Notre Dame, and Oregon are my final 4 right now. Let's see. Eastern Conference, Florida and Tampa Bay Lightning got something brewing with a nice rivalry. Toronto is solid, but they choke in the quarterfinals. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they'll choke again. That's guaranteed. That happens every year. So I wouldn't worry about them. But Florida, Tampa Bay, Boston, they're going to be right there. So, and I think the Red Wings fired their head coach recently. They've been struggling all year. They're supposed to be a team that was supposed to be on the up and coming, but they've, for whatever reason, they've struggled all year. So they got rid of their coach. But yeah, Philly's still in it. They're pretty good. Should be a very fun Eastern Conference playoffs this year. But I would say, yeah, the Lightning, Panthers, Boston, maybe Pittsburgh. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Morning Mutombo. Yeah, I forgot about Mutombo, who passed away recently. Rest in peace. And by the way, sad news tonight. We found out that Greg Gumbel, one of the longest tenured announcers in sports, passed away. 78. Rest in peace to Mr. Greg Gumbel, one of the best. Loved watching him do the coverage of March Madness. It's really good. People from around the sports world sending their condolences, just saying, people that worked with him saying he's just such a great guy. And he was class act, and he's definitely going to be missed. So rest in peace to Mr. Greg Gumbel, prayers to his family. Greg Gumbel, and then Mutombo passed away earlier. Had Roy Hibbert, Othello Harrington, I forgot. So yeah, that was Center University. Now, I mean, can't even name a center in college basketball right now. So yeah, man. So, by the way, thanks everybody for commenting on here tonight here on YouTube. Thanks for watching on YouTube at Ben Cornett 9015. Appreciate that. It's been a fun episode tonight. I'm trying to, because I'm on Instagram live too. Right now. So trying to see if I got any comments on that part. Yeah, so I'm trying that. I'm still kind of working on that with the Instagram, but yeah, I don't see any comments at the moment, but hopefully people will tune into that. Like I said, you can watch here on YouTube as well. Tampa Bay Rays fan says Red Wings fired their coach, who was lightly an assistant. Yzerman is in hot water in Detroit. New Jersey, a pleasant surprise, and the Rangers have been overrated and disappointed. Yeah, the Rangers I thought would do something good this year. They just signed their goalie to a long-term extension, so yeah, that's kind of surprising. And then the Devils, they're playing good. Hughes playing great, franchise guys. So yeah, New Jersey's pretty promising. They just got to stay healthy and keep growing. They could be a threat in the next couple of years. So yeah, I remember those days with Martin Brodeur, one of the greatest goalies ever in the history of the NHL. So yeah, the Devils, they have a long, rich history of hockey in Jersey. So yeah, they've won a couple Stanley Cups. Man, so we've been on here almost an hour now. This is surprising. I thought I'd be on for maybe 30 to 45 minutes, but you guys keep bringing the comments in. Appreciate that. Yeah, so let's see if we got any more comments. No. All right. So yeah, what's going on in the sports world right now? In the background, we got a bowl game. I'm not really into these smaller bowl games. They just don't interest me. I'm just waiting for the playoffs and the big games. As much as I love college football, I can't get into these little small bowl games. I don't know. They just don't do it for me. That's just me. So, let's see. New Jersey hired a coach from the Maple Leafs. Yeah, that's right. You're right about that. Tampa Bay Rays fan. Yeah, and again, it doesn't matter. I mean, you got overpaid guys like Austin Matthews. Just Tavares. I mean, boy, did they they overpaid that guy from the Islanders. Oh man, um, what's the other guy? I mean, they really overpaid. I think I forget his name, but Matthews, Tavares. I mean, they've just talk about overpaid. And I mean, Matthews is pretty talented. Don't get me wrong, but he never shows up in the postseason. Neither does oh yeah, Mitch Marner. That's who it is. Another guy that just doesn't show up in the postseason. Gets paid big money and just stinks it up. So yeah, I expect the same thing this year. So Toronto will always be that team that just can never get past a certain point. I know. It just is. Shano lost yesterday after he blew a 17-point lead with Rutgers. Oh, okay. Shiano, that's a name that let's not even start. Oh man. God. I still can't believe that guy coached the Buccaneers. I can't believe it. How did they allow that guy to? Well, I know how. The Glazers. That's how they're supposed to get Chip Kelly, but he turned him down at the last second. He agreed, then he turned him down. And then we got stuck with Shiano for 2 years, which, ugh, yeah, that was awful. That was awful. Maple Leafs have the Harold Ballard curse. Oh, Mr. Ballard, Mr. Cheapskate. Yeah, yeah, he pretty much was. He was a cheapskate, and yeah, I seen that documentary on him. He's quite the guy. Let's see, Tavares, Marner, Nylander. Yeah, Nylander. I forgot. Let's see another guy. All these overpaid guys. I mean, they show up in the regular season, get their paycheck, and in the playoffs. Christopher Cole, I don't watch hockey until February or March. Yeah, I mean, that's when it gets interesting. I pretty much just watch my Golden Knights. I don't really follow too much hockey from around the other part of the league, a little bit here and there, but yeah, like I said, Golden Knights are playing good hockey right now. We're in second place in the conference, just right behind Winnipeg. So, um, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, we got to stay healthy. I mean, that's the key for every team is to stay healthy and put together a hot streak come playoff time. So, yeah, man, we got Corey Brown saying, let's see, Red Wings play better in Western Division, should never have moved. Yeah, that's right. The Eastern Conference. JT Miller rumor get traded to the Rangers back to New York. Okay. At least Bucks defense was good with Greg Schiano. It was okay. It wasn't great. Not as great as people make it out to be. John Cooper still best head coach in the NHL. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. He's definitely a Hall of Fame type coach. 2 Stanley Cup titles. I think it's 2 Stanley Cup titles. Yeah. Did they win a third one? Has he won a third one? I don't know. Ballard should share a room with Culverhouse. Oh man, you're just bringing those names on tonight, aren't you, Tampa Bay Rays fan? Ballard, Culverhouse. Man, talk about cheapskates, man. Man, I loved when we had Malcolm Blazer. I mean, when he was, his kids are silver spoon fed. I mean, and that's another thing. They've ruined my Manchester United football team. Even though they don't own, all of it now, because Jim Ratcliffe owns the biggest percentage of Manchester United, but and I know a lot of you probably aren't soccer fans, but Manchester United just sucks right now. I mean, yesterday we lost to fucking Wolverhampton. We lost to a team that was in the relegation part of the table. And now we got them out of the relegation part of the table. Yeah, go figure. I mean, it doesn't matter who you got coaching that team. Ruben Amorio, Ten Hag, they've just never been the same since Sir Alex Ferguson, greatest manager of all time, in my opinion. And then you got these bloated contracts. Bruno Fernandes, he gets a red card. The guy's not a leader. I mean, Garnacho. I mean, he's okay in spurts, but we have no defense. We make too many mistakes. Casemiro's past his prime. Onana, he needs to have competition. Onana's here and there, but he can't do everything, and it's just a shame that my Reds have pretty much been in obscurity for the last 10 years. You're right. Since Alex Ferguson retired, they haven't been the same. Absolutely. I miss Mr. Ferguson. I mean, I'm amazed he can still watch these games in the stands and, have that smile on his face. I mean, it's disgusting. It really is. Marino, yeah. Oh God, Van Gaal, another idiot. I mean, but it just shows you the ownership of that club has, they've bowed down to these players, giving them big contracts. It's just terrible. I mean, Ferguson was the Phil Jackson of soccer. Yeah, absolutely. He was the greatest. He was the greatest Tampa Bay Rays fan. I miss that guy. I mean, he's one of the reasons I became a Manchester United fan. The way he managed, the way he was able to connect with players and develop them. My God, I miss those days. I miss the Eric Catanas, the Griggs, the Beckhams, Wayne Rooney. We got him free agency. I mean, when he had a young Cristiano Ronaldo, and they should never have brought him back. I don't know why they did. That was a nostalgia thing, bringing him back. Look what happened to that. Sure. Was that? So let me see that. Chicharito was highly overrated. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But right now, Liverpool's leading the table. Chelsea, they blew a big lead the other day against Fulham. I know a lot of you guys aren't soccer fan. Probably not soccer fan. I keep rambling about soccer, but I love Premier League. Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest. They've been a pretty good surprise this year too. Manchester City, man, they have just fallen down. And as a United fan, I love it. I mean, I wish we were playing Manchester City 30 more times this year. We'd probably be the top of the table. I mean, that's how bad Manchester City is. They drew the other day. Again, I forget who they were playing the other day, but man, they have fallen by the wayside. But as far as who's going to win the Premier League, it's probably going to be Liverpool, which is fine. I think they're still eligible for the treble. They can win the Premier League, the UEFA, and the English Cup, the FA Cup. So they're still alive for that. And that's with the new manager too. So that's pretty amazing. They've done this with the new manager, and what can you say? They're well coached, well disciplined. The team plays like a team. I mean, wish United had that. No, we just got too many individuals play for themselves. They were great with Beckham, Scholes, Giggs, the original core they built up from the academy. Yeah, that's what I love about soccer too. We don't have drafts; they have the academies that players come from. Start in youth leagues when they're kids. That's how you find the best talent. And man, that's another thing. We really haven't developed great players out of our own system. That needs to improve big time. If we're gonna even be close to being relevant again, we got to improve our youth league, get them ready. Because again, these guys, Fernandez, Garnacho, well, not so much Garnacho. I like Garnacho, but Bruno, get him out of here. Marcus Rashford, he's getting older. He hasn't even played, lately. Casemiro, he's past his prime. Manu, he's okay, but we need better defenders in our front line. We need a lot of work, and signing all these guys, Jerky, that was a Ten Hag player who they brought earlier in free agency this past year in the transfer window. I don't know. I saw Beckham play twice in person when he played for the LA Galaxy. Yeah. No, he was great. Along with Donovan, Howard. Now it's Pulisic. Yeah. Pulisic's a star, man. I just hope our U.S. soccer team gets better. We had a disappointing show in the what do you call it? The Tournament of the Americas or something like that. But the Gold Cup, we gotta. Hopefully, we can get back to the World Cup soon. But anyway, listen, I'm almost out of voice, so I'm gonna wrap this one up. But I want to thank everybody coming on here tonight. Tampa Bay Rays fan, 2008. Oh yeah, Copa America. Yeah, that's what it's called. Thank you. I keep forgetting the name of it. That was disappointing. Copa America. We should have been played a lot better. I mean, Mexico even played rotten in that tournament. So, Brazil didn't play that well either. So, I mean, yeah. So, but anyway, I'm losing some voice here, so I gotta wrap this one up. But again, I want to thank Tampa Bay Rays fan coming on. Christopher Cole, thanks for commenting. Corey Scott, appreciate the comments. Anthony Handy, Christopher Cole says, great show. Thank you, Christopher. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on, leaving a comment. Appreciate that. And well, come on, Bucks. This is it. I'm really stressing this here. The Bucks need to win both games these next 2 weeks. We're not going to make the playoffs. It's plain and simple. Don't worry about what Atlanta's doing. Just worry about what the Bucks are doing. Beat Carolina, beat New Orleans, win the division, get in the playoffs. That's all. And I know we got to hope Atlanta loses one, but that won't matter if the Bucks don't win both these games. It won't matter. We got to win these games. Bucks, get your shit together. Forget about last week. Carolina's coming in hot. They're going to play us tough. Probably should have beat us last time we played them. It took us to overtime. It took a Anthony Nelson strip fumble of Chuba Hubbard to get the ball back to kick a game-winning field goal to beat Carolina. So Carolina's going to want to get revenge. We got to be ready for them. This is our playoff run now. Win this game Sunday and go from there. That's all I ask. Okay? Chicago Fire hired a coach from the USMT that got eliminated. Ooh, wow. Okay. And thank you, Ben. Thank you, Tampa Bay Rays fan. Appreciate you guys coming on. With that being said, everybody, hopefully I'll be back next week to do this show again. Oh, wait. Read this last comment. Let me see this. I hope that I'm wrong, but I get the 1998 vibes from the Bucks. It's interesting. Yeah. We were, I believe, 8-8 that year. Yeah. We moved into the new stadium. Yeah. But we did beat the Minnesota Vikings. That was the only loss until they played Atlanta, ironically. The Vikings only lost one game. That was just. But yeah, hope not Tampa Bay Rays fan, but we'll see what happens. That's all we can do. So anyway, with that being said, everybody, hopefully I'll be back on here next week at this time for another edition of Have At It. Thank you so very much for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time right here on Have At It. Have a good night.